All right. All right. I don't know how to get rid of that. Go away. Oh, it's stuck. I guess I'll just minimize this. Hey. All right. So first, let's go to, you guys have Puttygen? So first things first, let's go to Puttygen. Um, so I said it should be located in Program Files, Puttygen, right? So creating a SSH key is really easy. You just click Generate, right? Make RSA is totally fine. Leave it at default, right? Is everyone with me so far? Okay, I'd like for you to do this with me because I know there's going to be problems if you don't. Perfect, perfect. And you literally want to move your mouse in this little box here because it creates like the randomness static that creates a key. Do not do passphrase because it's just really annoying. Every time you try to use your private key, it will call for a passphrase. And I mean, you could write that down somewhere, I guess. I just don't. I don't know. If you want ultra security, you can. I don't really care though. You want to copy this entire thing though. All right. So I just control, can you, I guess we have to drag and hold. That's fun. All right, copy the whole thing. You want to save your private key though before we do anything else. I don't care about passphrase. You just save it somewhere. I kept it in the root of C and get keys, right? So I saved that already. I know where that is. You don't have to worry about a public key because this is your public key. I'm sure you could, and all the public key would contain is just this. Maybe if you want to use the same SSH key for multiple things, you could do that if you wanted to save it, but whatever. All right, so my goodness, I have too many tabs open. All right, so I'm already here. If you go to your settings and your SSH keys, right? You want to enter a new SSH key, right? And you just call it whatever you want. You copy the entire thing into here and click Add SSH key, right? And then you would get a new SSH key, which I called my get, and I just put right here, right? This is essential to using get off of the browser. That's the whole point of using Git extensions because it's much, I like it a lot. The web tools now are really useful. You don't necessarily have to use the console. There's a lot that's available online. There's even some kind of Git desktop thing happening now, which I don't know how to use. If you want to use that instead, that's totally fine. There's plenty of ways to use Git, but I'm teaching you my way. If you don't want to learn, that's fine. Anyway, so we did that already. We did that already. Now we have to connect, right, our or clone our repository to our local computer, right? So cloning is the proper terminology for what we're doing here. So let's go to our repositories, which if I added you to Chrome Run, then you should have this already, right? You want to click the download code, make sure you're highlighting the SSH button, right? Click copy. All right, now the next step would go to start, clone repository. By the way, this is Git extensions. If you don't already have this installed, you're a little far behind, but is everyone still with me so far? All right. So we want to load the SSH key now. Now that we're here, you notice that once we copied the Chrome run, it automatically populated this field. That's fine. You can also just copy it again if you didn't already copy it. That's fine. You just want to get this, I don't know what you would call this, URL of sorts, clone key, I guess. And then you have to set where you want this to live. It'll automatically set it as Chrome run because that's the repository name, and the head branch is totally fine. That's where the main branch head will be. That will load up first. But you want to choose where you want this to live. I put inside my CSC 43 project folder. So anyway, now I kept it as personal. I want a working directory. So the next step is to load your SSH key wherever you saved your private key. This is where you load this. Just click on it, hit open, right? and then you're going to want to clone it. I've already cloned this, so I'm not going to reclone it. If you guys are with me so far, go ahead and try to clone this. Hit the clone button. There should be plenty of text loading on your screen. In fact, I guess I could just put this in a separate repository folder just for fun. Okay. Now that's cloned, we want to open it, so that's fine. Right. What have I done? I was practicing because I didn't want to look like an idiot in front of you guys again. So I tried to revert all these branches, and I did it beforehand, but he pushed, Josh did before I did all that, so that's why there's lots of this now. Because my main branch, I wanted to revert it back to the initial commit, just so it's a raw code, but Josh looks like he added a whole bunch of good stuff that's easier to look at and stuff. So I guess we'll just have a bunch of garbage behind us. That's fine. So what's interesting is you notice my branch is here, but Git extensions knows there's been commits after me, and it didn't automatically update my code. So what I want to do now is pull. Now that I'm on the main branch, right? This is highlighted. This is very important. This is your branch that you're currently on. Right now, there's only one branch. There's going to be a bunch of them soon, though. It looks like feature fragments is a remote branch that I don't have right now. So I'm going to check that out. I can check out a branch by double clicking here, or another option is you could just click the down arrow next to this branch icon, click checkout branch. I can select remote branch, down arrow, feature fragments. This is Josh's latest branch. I do want to create a local branch with the name feature fragments just for me, right? I can check that out. And what's going to do is update my folder, my actual folder, with the code that I just pulled just now. Okay, so if I were to go to that folder that I created just for this test, this is huge. This is everything he just pushed in that branch. Now, if I were to change this and go back to my main branch, this code, everything in this folder would change. In fact, I'll try to do that live and see if you can see it change. So I'm going to go to main. It's going to pull, do all kinds of cool stuff. And this, yep, it changed back to where I was in main, which is actually in the past at this point. So this is kind of like an older version. And you can do that a bunch of times. As you want. That's the whole point of branches. You kind of go into different levels in your revision history, right? Now, now that we're at the point now that we have a working repository that has multiple branches, let's create a new branch. I know we already have one, but I'm on main, and I'm going to create a branch off of main. There's a few ways you can do this. You can create a branch by right-clicking here. I believe you can create a branch by right-clicking here. Or in commands, there's also a create branch where you currently are, the latest push of your existing branch, which right now, as shown as here, highlighted here, is main. So I'm going to create a branch off of main. Don't check this. Check out if create's fine. Okay, so now the crisp branch is at the same level of main because I essentially cloned main into my own branch. Just copied it, right? So now if I were to change something in this local file, let's say I take copy properties, and I just copy and paste it. So it's copy with this, whatever. I added a new file. Immediately you see I have this detected, hey, there's a change in here. Doesn't matter if it's a line, a letter, this will appear with something has changed. And what's cool is it will show you what has changed. This file was created, hence the plus icon. Now, if something was already created but it was edited, it would have a pencil icon, and I'll show you that now. So if I were to take an existing one, let's say this, and I were to edit it and add another line, say I go and save it, right? This will have two changes. One of them's a pencil, one of them's a plus. Plus means new file, pencil means an edited file. If you click the pencil, it will show you which lines was added and removed, right? In order to push a change to the remote repository, which this, by the way, isn't remote, but I'm going to make it remote in a moment, you have to stage it. So you can stage one at a time by clicking, hit stage, or you can just push the double arrow, which means stage everything, right? You have to add a commit comment. This is a test. Usually you want to add a lot of detail what this is, version numbers, what you've changed. You know, it doesn't have to be gigantic, but at least give somebody a hint of what you did, or else we don't know what the heck your code is. I always commit and push. There's no reason to not do this, especially because if you don't commit and push, it doesn't go to the remote repository, which is where everything should live. So if someone wants to pull your changes, you're gonna have to commit and push. So what this is going to do is create a new branch, remote branch. See, the branch you're about to push seems to be a new branch for the remote. Are you sure you want to push this branch? You notice over here, there's not a Chris branch yet, but there's gonna be as soon as I push yes. And yeah, add a tracking reference, that's fine. Now everyone's going to see the Chris branch appear. See, there I am. And notice the Chris branch is now not on the same line as, well, it actually is in the same line as main still. But if I were to merge back into main, you'd see these branches kind of come together. And I'm definitely, oh, that's okay, that's a good example. Let's go back to main, and I'll create another change in main, just so we're all on the same page here, right? I'll show you exactly what I mean by merging in a moment. So I'll make another change here. You're gonna clean up all my mess, Josh. I'm sorry. I ruined your code horribly. Horribly. I should have just used text files, but I'm using your actual probably code with extensions that's gonna cause your build to screw up. We'll clean that up later. But notice that that main, Chris branch, and feature fragments are on separate branches now. They all branch off of main initially, but now they all have their own segments. So all three of these are running different segments of code that have changes different to each other. So it's going to cause merging that's going to need to happen. Now, merging is easy. You want to first open the branch that you want to merge into. So if this is the main branch, we want to merge Chris branch into main. Because if Chris branch was my development branch and main is, you know, our actual product that we're creating, we want to merge this into it. Now, that's important because, for instance, let's say Chris branch, I only have a couple of things that I'm working on here. Or this is a really, really old, I broke this off way a long time ago. Tons of people have been merging into main. In fact, the code could have tripled in main since I started working on it. And now I got to merge my changes into it. That's why it's important to merge the development branch into the main branch. If you did that backwards, then it wouldn't play as nice. You always want to have the main branch be your source and your development branch be what your kind of like the extra that you're adding to it, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. But if you go to commands, you can merge branches. And remember, I had main open first, right? So it automatically does origin main first. I want to stay with local branches right now, and then I'm going to push to the main origin in a moment. So my local branch is Chris branch, right? So I'm merging Chris branch into main, right? Leave all this default. Okay, now Chris branch has been merged into main branch. See how it kind of curves over? Now, poor Josh's stuff is not with us. We can do that later, or we can reset the branch, revert to branch to the past. Let's say, oh no, this was a mistake. We shouldn't have done this. So we can go back in time, right? So this is where I was. Origin main's last push was here. So I can right click here. We can revert. Reset the branch to here is the best thing to do. It's funny how this is twice. Why do they do this twice in the same context menu? Whatever. Huh, that's interesting. You know how many times I tested this before I showed you this to you guys? Too many times. Too many. Too many times. All right, so you should be able to, I'm sweating over here. You're supposed to be able to reset a branch to any location that it's been previously. Uh, and it's not liking me. Why? I don't know. Ah, this is what I wanted. What the other one was. It's the exact same information. The top one's what I want. So if I'm like, that was a mistake, I want to hard reset, lose the changes, delete the changes. I don't care about what was up here. I want to go back to the past because whatever. Some of these, depending on what the context is for, we'll kind of do a soft update, keep some things, but won't update them. I don't know. I prefer hard. If I really want to go back, if there's a really good reason to, I can copy and paste the whole copy of where I thought the repository was broken at in case I accidentally delete something. But anyway, I'm discarding all the changes from this point to this point. Right, now we're back here, and we still have 3 separate branches, right? Yeah, this is what I did. All right, we're on the same page. Woo! Now, let's do a merge conflict, huh? Ooh, that's gonna be real. A merge conflict is yeah, it's interesting. But first, I'm gonna go to feature fragments. Since I just created this, yeah, it is up to date. Okay. So if Josh, for instance, were to push this further ahead, I'm gonna need to pull his changes before I do anything else. And that's what that button's for, right? It's important to do that. It looks like he didn't make any changes, or else you would see more commits here past the 4 hours ago. But it doesn't always show when someone's made a recent commit, which is why it's important to do that, to pull before you push, because it also will let you know if there's a merge conflict with something you're already doing, and then you have to handle the merge conflict at that time. Because a pull is sort of like a merge at the time. You're just pulling changes in your own branch. A merge is a combination of 2 separate branches. So it's kind of like the same thing, but the objects or operators are different, if you understand the difference there. Okay, that's really the ins and outs of this minus merge conflicts. Merge conflicts are, all right, so let's create a merge conflict. We'll go local, I guess Gradle. We'll do Gradle on both of these. All right, so, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. All right, I'm gonna go to Chris branch. There it is. Local copy, and I'm going to edit a particular line. We're going to do line 21. All right, I tried to spell something there, but who cares? All right, now we're going to commit and push this code. Now this switch place with the main because this is the latest, most recent commit of the repository. So like main swap sides. So don't get too thrown off by the branch and color changing sides on you. That just is how it organizes it. I'm going to go back to main, and I'm going to update the same line on the same file, but they're technically different sets of code, right? No, it does. It does. Okay, so it's important to recognize origin is referring to a remote branch. Everything that doesn't have the origin in front of it is referring to a local branch. Now you can commit to a only to your local branch, um, and uh, and that's fine. But no one's going to see those changes until it goes to the remote branch. Now, when you merge, you actually have to merge them individually. I think there's a way to merge multiple branches at once, um, but it's best to push your changes to a remote branch and then merge in the remote branch. Um, Everything that's origin in front of it's remote because, you know, the remote branches are what we're all working from. Your local branches is your local changes. So when you push and merge, we want to make sure we're always using the remote branches. Local is great for like testing little, I don't know, like honestly, I'd rather just all work all completely with remote branches. It's not like, I mean, I guess if you're doing something real risky, you want to keep it local in case you mess something up. I don't know. Um, okay, so yeah, I don't know if that answered your questions or not. Uh, okay, so we made the same changes in the same line with two separate branches, right? Local copy, line 21, right? Now this is where it's important because the way Git works, it works line by line. So it goes file and line number. Now, what's interesting is if I would have hit enter here at line 19 and it pushed like ADSE down to line 21, it actually knows that. And it's not going to have a merge conflict because it's, oh, he entered earlier. But if I enter new content at the same line, according to where the old content was, it'll create a merge conflict because it's kind of like it recognizes where new data has come into the class. So if me and Nick are both working on the same class at the same time, and we're adding new code at the end of the class, that shouldn't conflict. But if we edit an existing line of code earlier at the same place and change it differently, then that would cause a merge conflict, if that kind of makes sense. All right, so we're going to do a merge now that we're in main. We made two changes. Yes, yes, that's fine. It'll work actually. Yeah, yep, it knows. Um, all right, so Chris branch into main, it should cause a merge conflict. Yay, merge conflict, right? Merge failed, right? So Git Extensions has a tool called KDiff3. It's fantastic. Um, this will open 3 copies. So this is before the change was made. This was the change in main. This is the change in my branch, Chris branch, okay? So what you want to do is decide which one are we going to keep, all right? So this is what the saved changes will look like. So for instance, let's say there was 10 merge conflicts in the same file. It's happened, and huge chunks of code too sometimes. What you'll do is you'll decide, do I stick with A and leave it unchanged? Do I keep with B and I like the B, so I want B to be what my result to be, or C, what's already in the remote, which is the Chris branch? Do I want to keep that one? And the way you do that is you select here, and once I select on the red box, you notice these became unhighlighted. See, gray, color, gray, color. So what we'll do is I can do, if you click this is referring to the same change regardless of the column I'm in. But if I click A, look at the very bottom down here, it's going to change. So this is the one for main. This is the one for the remote. Now, if I click both of them, they'll both appear. Now, we don't want that, though. We want to choose one. So you can just select as you want. I want this one, unselect it, click it. Now I have this one, unselect it, it goes away. A will just leave it nothing. If you can do B and C, or just B or just C. We want to keep B because I said so. And what you want to do at this point is save it. Don't export. Don't look for anything funny. All you have to do is hold Control and hit S. That's it. X out of there. Automatically handles it. All merge conflicts are solved. You can commit. You want to commit? Heck yeah, I do. All right. Now it's going to say, hey, we merged a branch. And everything's, so we want to push this down, right? Commit and push. It automatically puts the information in there for you. We should see in the commit history that we merged a branch. Should. Hey, we did it. All right. So that was a really rough primer on that. Creating branches. You can also delete branches whenever you want. So if I already, so this is the whole point. Once you've worked in a branch, it's done its purpose, you've merged it back in the main branch, it's important to actually delete the branches. And you do so just by right-clicking the branch over on the side here. I'm going to delete my local branch, force to delete, which will force delete the actual, local files as well, which is fine because remember, when you go back to main, you're going to have those again. And then I will go into the remote and also delete this. All right, so I think it will still show the history that, hey, you had a branch here at one point. But it won't show what the branch is now because it's gone. It even says a comment, this was Chris branch, but it's no longer there. So it kind of shows still your history. Yeah, so we played with this. Now I should be able to revert the main branch back here. So I'm going to revert main because I'm in main back to this point before we create all these branches, before we make any of these changes. And I'm going to do a hard reset. Now, this shouldn't affect the feature fragments branch. It didn't. Woo! Now, I'm not exactly sure at this point. This should have all this up here should be gone. I don't know why it's not gone. That's kind of annoying. I guess, is there a way to, I don't see a delete button, delete branch. I don't want to delete. Oh, origin main's up here still. That's why. So we'll check this out. No, I thought that would affect both. No. Okay. Oh, that's oh, how do I? Because what I did is I took my local branch, right? I took my local branch and I pulled, I reverted my local branch back to this point. But my remote branch is still there. Because notice there's no data happening. This is all local. Now, I guess I can push now to the remote and it should update this too. Not pull, because pull would pull me back up here, right? So what would happen if I were to push now? Yeah, I'm pushing to remote on main. Pretty sure. Yeah, when I do this, it's going to pull me back to where I was if I do a pull with merge first. But if I push, I'm pretty sure that it's going to ignore this entirely. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out what happens. Hey, exactly what I thought it would do. We're back to where we started. All right, good. So we forced main back to where it was, the remote main. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's do that. It shouldn't affect your branch because your branch still contains the main code at the point where you broke it off. So you are separate entirely. Even if the point where your branch parted from mine gets reverted, you should still live on. Even if you took some of my crappy changes with you, but you fixed that already. So we're going to go back here and I should. It's going to do the same window's going to come up with the pull thing again. I think, yep, force push. All right, so origin main's here and you're up there. It's going to show all this in between us right now. Now, I'm going to merge you into into me now, and to see what that's going to do. We're in main still. Okay, but, huh, does it have all the garbage in there? Let's find out. Hey, no garbage. All right, so it's going to keep these as a history, I guess, because of when you broke yours off. Because technically, if you kept my changes, this would all be important to you. But since you deleted my changes, it doesn't really matter. So this is just going to exist from now on unless you wanted to delete your branch, revert here, and then re-upload your code to main. It's fine. I'd say we keep the changes because it's funny. But the thing is, I need to push now to my origin, because since I inherited, this is local. Okay, until origin is at the top with main, this isn't on in the Git for everyone to see. Now, main and main origin are together. Okay, that's it. So anyone can branch off of origin main now, and you can also push further into your feature fragments without affecting main where we are now. And someone else can create a branch off origin main, call it whatever you want, and work with a copy of main without affecting main in case you do something that hurts it. And then we can, there's something that I didn't go over, which is called a pull request, and that's very common in Git terminology. And a pull request is something you actually do online. You can't do through Git extensions, and it's meant for collaboration. What it does is it shows the diff, right? It shows the difference of the last commit. You know, you go through each of these files and folders. These are things that Josh has changed since the last commit. Skeleton for fragments, I guess. We can even look down to each one of these and see what he's changed, right? You deleted my copies, and you can see the plus and minus, and then so everyone goes through this and says, okay, I agree with all these changes. This looks acceptable. And then what you'll do is everyone that's in your collaborator team will accept the pull request. And once everyone's accepted the pull request, you'll merge the separate branch feature fragments into main. This is so that there isn't Wile E. Coyote throwing code into the main branch, because it's kind of protected, because it's supposed to work with pull requests. It's kind of like the international standard for working with code with collaborators around the world that may be even in different time zones. Because you can add comments, you can add, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if Git has like a bug system yet, where you can put in like, bugs and feature problems or feature requests and whatever. But you can usually reference and log those things too. We use something called Polarian that handles all of this for us. For all the bugs and stuff. It's actually awesome, other than it being atrociously slow. All right. I'm sure you guys are going to have questions, and that's fine. The internet's full of information if you can't reach me, but I'm totally willing to answer any questions I can. For the time being, everybody should create, if you're going to work in asexual code, please create your own branch and push to that branch until it's done, or at least a point where you want to merge with somebody. Anybody can always reference your branch at any time. Nobody, but what's cool is you see who made the commits and whatever. If somebody messes up your code and makes a commit accidentally, it's fine. You can revert back. But you can also see if someone's working on your branch when they shouldn't be, and you can talk to them about it. So there's no chance that someone else can mess up your code, unless someone were to revert back to the beginning, which everyone here has access to do that. And it would affect everyone's local files, at least at the origin point. If you were to pull, that's the point. Then that would be a problem at that point. But I don't think that would. I don't know. A part of me wonders if someone were to take origin main and bring it back to the root, I would still be able to track because my local repository is still tracking its own thing. So I think that might save us if that were to happen. But the odds of that happening is really low anyway. I doubt someone will try to do that. Please, no. So okay, that's everything. You guys have any questions? It is going to be online.